Hola alumnos, hoy estudiamos la hora y los días de la semana. La información para esta lección está en el libro de texto en las páginas 38 y 39. Pues, we are studying la hora, time, y los días de la semana, days of the week. If we want to ask the question in Spanish, what time is it? We will ask, ¿qué hora es? In order to answer this question, it's important that we know whether or not we are using the 12-hour or the 24-hour system. We are going to use the 12-hour system when we are talking to family and friends or our peers. We are going to use the 24-hour system if we are discussing class schedules, if we are talking about business or medical appointments. We will also use it if we're talking about airline schedules or train schedules, as well as official or formal gatherings. Therefore, it can be concluded that we are going to use the 12-hour system in Spanish when we are in an informal situation, and we can use the 24-hour system when we are in a formal situation. If we are using the 24-hour system, please keep in mind that the 24-hour system has as its first hour 1 a.m., and all other hours are numbered sequentially up to 24. In your book, and also the first section on our lesson guide, we have when we want to discuss time on the hour. So on our lesson guide, we do have two examples. We'll have two clocks. The first one has the hour hand pointing at 1 and the minute hand at 12. Let's say that we are discussing this being 1 p.m. If we are using this in an informal situation and we want to tell time, we will say es la una de la tarde. It's very important that we use the phrase de la tarde when we are referring to 1 p.m. informally, because since we are using the 12-hour system, we need to indicate whether or not we are discussing morning or afternoon. However, if we are using the 24-hour system, if we are speaking formally, we will say son las 13, or we can say son las 13 horas. Horas being optional. Horas meaning hour, but of course being optional whether or not we use it. The reason why we do not have to use de la mañana, de la tarde, or de la noche when we are using the 24-hour system is because it automatically lets us know if we are discussing any time before 12 or any time after 12. Remember, the 24-hour system is familiar to most of us when we think about it regarding military time. If we are talking about any time after 12 p.m., all we need to do is add the number 12 to the hour that we are discussing. So for this instance, we are talking about 1 in the afternoon. We just add 12 to it and we come out with 13 or 13. Now, another thing that I would like for you to notice is when we are talking about time, we have in the first sentence the conjugation es. In the second sentence, the verb conjugation that we have is son. Both of these are variations or conjugations of our verb ser, to be. So we're going to use ser when we are telling time. The reason why we use es in the first sentence is because we are referring to the 1 o'clock hour, la una. Since we're just saying 1 hour, we are going to use third person singular, es la una. Any other time on the clock, we are going to use the conjugation son, third person plural, because we are talking about something that's plural. We have more than 1 hour, so we are going to use son. Son las 13. In the next example, we are looking at a clock that is pointing at 5 with its hour hand, and it is pointing at 12 with the minute hand. For this hour, we are talking about 5 o'clock. Specifically, we see that it says 5 o'clock in the morning. Informally, we will say son las 5 de la mañana. If we are using the formal way of saying this, we will simply say son las 5, or we can say son las 5 horas. We do not have to use de la mañana, and we don't have to add 12 at all because we are talking about a time that occurs before 12 noon. Since it's in the morning, we just need to say son las 5. In the next section on our lesson guide, we are discussing the quarter hour and the half hour. When we think of the quarter hour, think of 15 minutes. So, if we want to say a quarter in Spanish, we will say cuarto. Not to get confused with the word cuatro, meaning 4. Cuarto has the R before the T. Now, whenever we are discussing time and we're talking about minutes after the hour, if we are talking about any time such as 1 minute after the hour all the way up to 30 minutes after the hour, we will use the word y, and. So if we want to say that it is 6, we have the hour hand between the 6 and the 7, and we have the minute hand at the 3, okay? So we want to say it's a 6:15. In Spanish, informally, we will say son las 6:15. Since we're saying it's in the morning, we will say son las 6:15 de la mañana. If we want to refer to this time formally, it's very important that we understand we are going to say exactly what time it is. We're not going to say it's a 6:15. We are literally going to say it is 6:15. Therefore, we will say son las 6:15. If we would like to talk about the fact that it is at 30 minutes past the hour, same time, we're going to have the hour hand between the 6 and the 7, and we have our minute hand at the 6. So we're saying that it is 6:30 in the morning. Informally, we will say son las 6:30 de la mañana. However, formally, we will literally say that it is 6:30. So we will say son las 6:30. Now, whenever we are discussing minutes before the hour, anytime that is between 31 minutes and 59 minutes, we are going to refer to the next hour, and we are going to use the word menos. Menos meaning minus or till. This is only when we are using the informal way of telling time. So, if we have our hour hand between the 6 and the 7, and our minute hand is at the 9, if we would like to say it is a 6:45, informally, in Spanish, it is a 6:45 in the morning, we will say son las 7 menos cuarto de la mañana. Remember, when we are telling time formally, we are going to say exactly what time it is. So we will say that it is 6:45. En español, son las 6:45. Next, we are going to discuss minutes before and after the hour. Once again, if the minutes are after the hour, we're going to use y. And if they are before the hour, we are going to use menos. So if we have our hour hand between the 1 and the 2, and let's say that we have our minute hand at the 4, and we are talking about the morning. So we are discussing the fact that it is 1:20 in the morning. Informally, we will say es la 1:20 de la mañana. Formally, we will say es la 1:20. In a similar fashion, if we have the hour hand between the 10 and the 11, and our minute hand is at the 11, we are going to say that, and let's say that this is at night, so we will say that this is 10:55 at night. In Spanish, informally, we are going to be saying that it is 5 till 11. So in order to say that, we will say son las 11 menos 5 de la noche. If we would like to say this formally, we are literally going to say that it is 10:55 at night. But keep in mind that formally we are using the 24-hour system. So we need to make sure that we are talking about 10 at night and not 10 in the morning. As a result, to say it is 10:55 at night using the 24-hour system, we will say son las 22:55. When we are telling time, and if this time is between 12:31 and 1:30, we will use the conjugation es. The reason for this is because 12:31 is on the left side of our clock, okay? We're at that 31 mark, and so we're talking about not minutes after 12 o'clock. No, we're talking about minutes till the next hour. For that reason, we are going to look toward the next hour, which is la una. So if we want to say that it is 12:31, informally, we are literally going to say that it is 29 minutes until 1 o'clock. So we will say that 12:31 is translated as es la una menos 22. O lo siento, 29. If we want to say that it is 1:30, remember, once we hit that 30 mark, okay, anytime between the 1 minute after, and 30 minutes after, we will use E. For that reason, if we want to say that it is 1:30, we will say es la 1:30, informally. So, es la 1:30. Now, if we are referring to any other time on the clock, we are going to use son. The reason for that is because we are going to be referring to an hour that is more than one. So if we wanted to say it is 12:30, we will say son las 12:30. However, if we want to say that it is 1:31, since we've passed that 30-minute mark, we are going to look toward the next hour. So instead of saying es la una, we are going to say son las 2 menos 29. Next, if we want to ask at what time a certain event occurs, or if we want to tell the time in which a certain event occurs, we are going to use the preposition a. For example, if I wanted to ask at what time is the Spanish class, I will ask ¿a qué hora es la clase de español? In response, if we wanted to say at 8 a.m. or 8 in the morning, we will say a las 9 de la mañana. Please keep in mind that when we are telling time, when we are saying it is 8 o'clock in the morning, we are going to say son las 8 de la mañana. However, if we want to say that something occurs, an event occurs at a particular time, we will say a las 8 de la mañana. In the next video, we are going to discuss other time expressions as well as the days of the week, los días de la semana.